before the trade, the Dodgers were 5-1 to win the World Series at the Westgate Sporting Super Book, whatever that is. Now, the odds have dropped to 3.5 to 1 as of Wednesday morning, just behind the Yankees at 3 to 1, ahead of the Astros, who are now at 8 to 1. The Braves are 12 to 1 to win it all, ahead of St. Louis 14 to 1, and defending World Series champion Washington Nationals at 16 to 1. And don't think for 1 second that Washington's going to win this thing, because they can't. The lull after winning the World Series is it's enormous. You have no idea. Win a World Series and see what happens to you. It's going to happen to you too. So, look, it's going to be interesting. The Dodgers now have 3 of Major League Baseball's top 25 players in wins above replacement from last season. Okay? They let go Hyun-Shin Ryu. They let go Kenta Maeda. But they still have Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw. They got David Price and the whole thing. So they have a strong farm system. And they still could wind up getting Francisco Lindor. They could still do it. Now, for the Yankees, J.A. Happ got a boost yesterday. Okay, so it looks like, because James Paxton will miss at least April, possibly May. They announced he had some kind of surgery. I'm not going to go into it. Removal of a cyst. Surgery was performed. The timing is brutal. It was brutal. I mean, why didn't he have the surgery last year? Unbelievable. The Yankees are in a position to absorb his spot in the rotation. I mean, look, they're getting Severino and Garrett Cole back from a team that won 103 games last year. Okay? For Paxton, it's brutal. He was about to enter his walk season, and look, he's very fragile. He has never qualified for an ERA title, and he probably won't do it this season as well. James Paxton, in his career, has never qualified for an ERA title. Unbelievable. King Hap, how you doing? How you doing there, King Hap? SP Fan is here. Traveler has joined us. Great stuff, everybody. I love you all for being in the chat room. It's really fantastic. By the way, Brooks, looks like another positive opening for both of us. Okay? Little inside there with Brooksy. All right, so the Yankees, look, they weighed trading J.A. Happ, and you wonder why they didn't. All right, they were going to cut payroll after they signed Garrett Cole. They had a market for him, but Paxton with that lingering back injury, he first reported problems in the final regular season week last year. So, look, having surgery so close to spring training is not ideal, but it was considered a last gasp effort. And so they'll enter the spring with Cole, Severino, Tanaka, and Happ as their main 4 starters. Don't forget that the return of Paxton will come at some point. Domingo Germán, whose suspension for violating the domestic abuse policy. Jordan Montgomery missed most of the last 2 years following Tommy John surgery. A lot of people are saying that Jordan Montgomery could be a big surprise this year, and I agree. Okay? Montgomery won a rotation spot in 2017, and he was the dark horse to get that number 5 spot, okay? Could be Michael King, could be Luis Cessa, could be Jonathan Loaizaga, could be Devi Garcia. It's going to be now we have something to really pay attention to. Here's another guy. I'll tell you somebody else, okay? Clark Schmidt. Etch this name in your kitchen table. Does anybody know who Clark Schmidt is? First-round pick out of South Carolina. He'll be in the Major League camp for the first time, but he's going to get some experience. The Yankees drafted Schmidt 16th overall, despite the fact he was coming off of Tommy John surgery. He had 23 innings in his first pro season, pitched 90 innings last year. The Yankees are building him up slowly. He finished the season last year with 3 solid starts at Double-A. He dealt with some forearm tightness, but keep in mind, Clark Schmidt, okay, figures to be on an innings limit, but in the second half of the season, when his name comes up, you know you got him. Not bad if you can tuck him away, as we say, okay? Look, Jordan Montgomery, Luis Sessa could get starts ahead of him, along with Loaizaga and Domingo Germán out until early June, serving his suspension, okay? So there you go. And, of course, the Graterol. Look, with this kid with Graterol, he's got elite velocity, okay? No question. He had 103.8 miles an hour on the radar gun. So everywhere he's gone, everybody has thought very highly of him. He comes with a lot of history of injuries. That's the big knock on him. So let's see what happens. So with Mookie Betts on a 1-year rental, Francisco Lindor could fit into Hollywood. Okay, he really could. So let's see what happens. And don't forget, it's possible. Now with David Price, wouldn't it be interesting? David Price, the contract was an albatross to the Red Sox, so they agreed to trade him and all that stuff, and the Dodgers sent Verdugo. But he owns a 3.31 earned run average through 12 seasons. 150 victories, 8th among active pitchers, and if Price is healthy, he could really be a big winner for the Dodgers rotation that lost Hyun-Jin Ryu and Rich Hill. He could find more success working in the National League, where the pitchers are, featured. The Dodgers rotation: Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, David Price, Julio Urias, Alex Wood, Jimmy Nelson, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin. So there's enough depth to keep Price's workload manageable. That's important. So nothing is guaranteed. He's been hounded by injuries during his 4 years in Boston, elbow trouble, the whole thing. But don't forget, the Dodgers were after Garrett Cole, okay? Now, for Graterol, don't forget, hitters didn't chase him at all. 24% strikeout rate, 11% walk rate. But, I don't know. And here's the other thing. The Yankees, now, I don't know if Casey Stern was just jerking around. Casey Stern, a friend, not an everyday friend. He usually does not say things that he doesn't mean. Casey Stern came out suggesting that the Yankees could easily get Nolan Arenado. Easily get Nolan Arenado. That's what Casey Stern said. He said his sources told him the Yankees could easily get Nolan Arenado. Now, if the Rockies get Gio Urshela, okay, no big deal. Right now, you don't get excited. Clint Frazier, catcher Kyle Higashioka, who is probably a pretty good catcher, Clark Schmidt, and Deivi Garcia. Do you think that's enough to get Nolan Arenado? The Yankees could do it. Urshela, serviceable at third. Clint Frazier, Higashioka, the catcher, Clark Schmidt, and Deivi Garcia, 2 young pitchers. And the reason they want young pitchers rather than established veterans is because they want to be able to work with the young pitchers on how to. Big Al is here. Big Al with the flu. Good morning, Big Al. How you doing there, kid? Great to see Big Al. King Hap. Andy will be on the King Hap show at some point. Taco is here, too. Good morning, you guys. And we'll talk to you later. Very good chance that we may be seeing 2 additions to the lineup. And Taco, and they do a great podcast. Absolutely great podcast. King Hack and So you may be seeing him soon. Yeah, they need to put Miguel Andujar. So if they substitute Miguel Andujar, all right. So that's a good one, George. Miguel Andujar. Now let's just take a look at this. I think George, you still okay? I know Kirk Douglas died. I wasn't sure if they showed the picture, and I thought it might be your picture. But no, it wasn't. It's good to see George is still here. But let's take a look at this deal now and instead of putting Urshela, how about Andujar, Frazier, Higashioka, Clark Schmidt, and Devi Garcia? And that would give the Yankees a lineup of DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge batting second, Arenado third. Now they still have room to get Nolan Arenado and Francisco Lindor. They can still get Lindor, okay? Lindor fourth, Gleyber Torres fifth, Stanton sixth, Mike Ford seventh, Gary Sanchez eighth, and Tauchman ninth. Something like that, right? But I could see him getting Arenado. I could absolutely see them getting Arenado. So, great stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Now, there was so much talk about Mookie Betts going to San Diego for Will Myers, and I don't know. I know that the activity in the month of February is a horror show for most fantasy baseball players, but to say that Will Myers, if you take a look at the Padres' 40-man roster, what about Will Myers? Heading into the 2020 season, he slumped again through 2019, and he's going to have to hit to become a starter in their rotation. So look, his strikeout rate in 2019 was 34, the worst of his career, second highest among hitters with at least 400 plate appearances. The leader, who is the leader in strikeouts, in strikeout percentage? Anybody want to guess that? The leader in strikeouts, Will Myers was second at 34%. Who was the leader in strikeout rate in 2019? 36.2%. Okay? Now, and he's trending down. He's had so many injuries and all that stuff. But until now, salary had been marginal, even with his production falling to come close to matching what he did over the first half in 2016. But this year is the first that Myers is owed $20 million. And that's why he is frequently attached to trade rumors, and why it's especially difficult to move Will Myers. The Padres, it seems, would have to eat a substantial amount of his contract. The outfield now for San Diego, Tommy Pham, surefire bet to start in the corner in center field. Renfroe and Reyes are gone, but Manny Margot figures to be pushed in center field if Franchi Cordero is healthy, and newcomer Trent Grisham, who can play all three outfields. The defensive challenge, Josh Naylor, and he's not really. I say he's getting a bad rap. Naylor also remains part of the equation. Taylor Trammell is knocking on the door, and that leaves Myers with plenty of competition for at-bats. And Myers rarely played a full game last year, if you take a look at his numbers. All right, let me take a look at the chat room and see if anybody has figured out who had the highest strikeout percentage. It wasn't Chris Davis, wasn't Gallo, wasn't Moncada, it wasn't, come on, Andrea, it's one of your boys. That's right, one of your boys. It was Miguel Sano. Miguel Sano had the highest strikeout percentage in baseball last year. Yep. Yes, he did. Miguel Sano, the highest strikeout percentage in baseball last year, and we'll see what happens. So, yeah, he did. We'll see what happens with Miguel Sano. But he did beat out Myers in strikeout percentage. So, strikeout rate was the work. Sano fan, 36.2% of his plate appearances, but he also had 34 home runs and drove in 79 runs, and he played in 50 fewer games than Will Myers. Okay? Everybody got that? Okay, the Kansas City Royals. That's the Kevin Hastings Ball Club.